Dear learners, this is a video for the subject of education, for the course of MA Education, and for the paper of Psychological Foundations of Education. This video is from the Block 1, Fundamentals of Educational Psychology and Growth and Development. We are going to cover the Unit 2, which is Growth and Development, and the topic of discussion is Cognitive Development Theory of Jean Piaget. The video is going to be recorded by Dr. Aerum Khan. The subject matter expert for the video is Dr. Aerum Khan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, and the academic expert or the reviewer for the video is Professor Jasim Ahmed from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Hello dear students, I am Dr. Aerum Khan, Assistant Professor at Institute of Advanced Studies in Education, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia. We are going to discuss the unit Growth and Development, and the lecture is going to be based on the Cognitive Development Theory of Jean Piaget. Let us start the discussion first with the objectives. The objectives of this session are to discuss the cognitive development theory given by Jean Piaget, to elaborate the various stages of cognitive development theory, and to explain the different concepts related to the cognitive development theory. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist who is known for his work on child development, and his theory on the cognitive development and his epistemological view are altogether called the genetic epistemology. Piaget placed greater importance on the education of children. His theory of child development is studied in pre-service education programs, and it is proved to be very much valid and useful in terms of educating the would-be teachers. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development suggests that children move through 4 different stages of mental development. His theory focuses not only on understanding how children acquire knowledge, but also on understanding the nature of intelligence. Piaget's theory of, or which is also considered to be the stage theory, is having 4 stages. The first stage is known as the sensory motor stage, which starts from the birth and goes up to 2 years. Then the next is pre-operational stage, which is starting from the age of 2 till the age of 7. Then we have got the concrete operational stage, which starts from the age of 7 and it goes on till the age of 11. And then the formal operational stage, which starts from the age 12 and it is considered to be going ahead for rest of the time after the age of 12. Jean Piaget believed that children take an active role in the learning process of their own. They act much like little scientists as they perform the experiments, they make the observations and learn about the world in which they live. These children interact with the world around them. They continuously add new knowledge, which builds upon the existing knowledge, and adapt previously held ideas to accommodate new information. And this is the process which goes on in the way in which we can say that is something which is very much continuous. Piaget's stage theory describes the cognitive development of children. Cognitive development involves changes in cognitive process and the abilities. In Piaget's view, early cognitive development involves processes based upon actions and later progresses to changes in mental operations. What exactly this stage theory of or this cognitive development theory is all about? Basically, it relies on the stages, the 4 stages, and through the various observation of his own children, Piaget developed this stage theory of intellectual development that included 4 distinct stages. Let us try to discuss these stages elaboratedly or in a very discrete manner one by one. The first stage is the sensory motor stage. It starts from birth and it goes till 2 years of age. The major characteristics and the developmental changes which are seen in the sensory motor stage are a few, and let us see that what are these changes. Here in this stage, the infant knows the world through their movements and sensations. Children learn about the world through the basic actions such as grasping, sucking, looking, and listening. And there are many more such type of basic actions. Then infants learn that things continue to exist even though they cannot be seen. And this is called as object permanence. They are separate beings from the people and objects around them. They realize that their actions can cause things to happen in the world around them. So these are few of those characteristic features and developmental changes which can be seen in the sensory motor state. During this earliest stage of cognitive development, infants and the toddlers acquire knowledge through sensory experiences and manipulating objects. Basically, this is something where they acquire knowledge. A child's entire experience at the earliest period of this stage occurs through the basic reflexes, senses, and motor responses. It is during the sensory motor stage that children go through a period of dramatic growth and learning. As children interact with their environment, they are continually making new discoveries about how the world works. The cognitive development that occurs during this period takes place over a relatively short period of time, and it involves a great deal of growth. Children not only learn how to perform physical actions such as crawling and walking, they also learn a great deal about language from the surrounding people with whom they interact. Jean Piaget also broke the stage into 6 different substages. It is during the final part of the sensory motor stage that early representational thought emerges. Let us try to see what are those 6 different substages which are elaborated by Jean Piaget. So among the substages of sensory motor stage, the first is the stage related to simple reflexes. This starts from the birth to 1 month old child, like from once the child is born till when the child becomes 1 month old. At this time, infants use reflexes such as rooting and sucking. Then the next substage is the development of first habits and primary circular reactions. This starts from 1 month and it goes up to 4 months old. Can be seen in up to the 4 months old child. During this time, infants learn to coordinate sensation and 2 types of schema. Basically, the first one is related to habit and the other one is related to circular reactions is actually seen. A primary circular reaction is when the infant tries to reproduce an event that happened by accident. For example, sucking of the thumb. So accidentally the child put the thumb inside the mouth and then he or she feels that this can be reproduced, and we can see that this child tries to repeat that particular accidental event every now and then. Then comes the third substage, which is related to secondary circular reactions. From 4 to 8 months, like starting from 4 months, and we can see this substage till the 8 months of age of a child. At this time, they become aware of things beyond their own body. They are more object oriented, and at this particular time, they might accidentally shake, uh, rattle, and continue to do it for the sake of satisfaction. So we can see that they start playing with those type of toys, the rattle toys, and all those noise producing toys, and they constantly start if they start one play, they continue that play for a long time. So this is the third substage of secondary circular reactions. The fourth substage is the coordination of secondary circular reactions. From 8 months to 12 months, this stage actually goes on. So during this stage, they can do things intentionally. They can now combine and recombine the schemata and try to reach a goal. For example, if they want to reach to something, they try using some sort of objects to bring that thing near to them, taking a stick or taking a scale or any other object for bringing the that particular object which they want to bring near to them. They use different objects to get that object near to them. They also begin to understand the object permanence in the later months and early into the next stage. That is, that they understand that objects continue to exist even when they can't see them. Then the fifth substage is the tertiary circular reactions, novelty and curiosity. This stage starts from 12 months. You can see happening this particular stage is from the 12 months and it goes on around 18 months old. Child can be seen performing this particular activities or the actions of this substage. During this stage, infants explore new possibilities of objects. They try different things to get different results. After this, we have got the sixth substage, which is the internalization of schemata. And obviously, this stage starts from 18 months onward and it ends by uh, the completion of 2 years. Here, the internalization of whatever schemata, whatever ideas were building up, they start internalizing and reacting towards those schemata. So this was the substages of the sensory motor stage. There is a concept of object permanence which I was taking every now and then. What exactly it means? Piaget believed that developing object permanence or object constancy, basically it is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they cannot be seen. This was an important element at this point of development. And by learning that objects are separate and distinct entities and that they have an existence of their own outside of individual perception, children are then in a position to begin to attach names and words to objects. So they start saying Baba, Papa, Mama, or if they want some water, they start saying, taking different names or different sounds for that particular object to which they are willing to get. Like if they are thirsty, they can't see anything which is holding some water, but they will make sound or they will uh, do things which will make the parent get to know that this child is thirsty and he or she is willing to have some water. So this is somehow the concept of object permanence. Now comes the second stage, which is the pre-operational stage. This stage starts from the age of 2 years and it goes on by the age of 7 years. The major characteristics and the developmental changes which can be seen here in this stage, they are that the children begin to think symbolically and learn to use words and pictures to represent objects. Children at this stage tend to be egocentric and struggle to see things from the perspective of others. While they are getting better with language and thinking, they still tend to think about things in very concrete terms. So these are the majority of those features which can be seen in the children of age 2 to 7. The foundation of language development may have been laid during the previous stage, but it is the emergence of language that is one of the major hallmarks of the pre-operational stage of development. Because in the sensory motor stage, they were not using proper language. They might be using certain symbols, or they might be bringing out some sound, but in this pre-operational stage, the basic language development happens. Children become much more skilled at pretending, or uh, when they play, they start pretending. And this happens during this stage of development. They continue to think very concretely about the world around them, the neighborhood, the things, whatever is in the environment. They start thinking of in a very concrete way. At this particular stage, kids learn through the pretending, and when they play, they actually pretend a lot, but they still struggle with logic and taking the point of view of other people. They also often struggle with understanding the idea of constancy. Like in case, if we are having a lump of clay, which can be divided into two equal pieces, and if we give this one piece to the child, the choice between two pieces of clay to play with, basically the child is going to pick one, and the one piece of clay is rolled into a compact ball, while the other is smashed into a like flat kind of pancake shape. And because this pancake, or this flat shape, looks larger in this pre-operational stage, this child is likely to choose the flat shaped piece, even though the two pieces are exactly of the same size. So we have taken the lump of clay, we have divided the clay into two parts in front of him or her, and then we made one lump, one piece into a ball and another piece into a flat, and then we have given the option of choosing among the two. Then we can find this child choosing, most of the time the child is going to choose the flat one because it looks bigger. So this is something which shows that the they struggle with the understanding of the idea of constancy. So this is one of the major features which can be seen here in this stage, or considered to be the pre-operational stage. The pre-operational stage is again divided into two substages. The first substage is the symbolic function substage. From 2 years to the age of 4 years, the children find themselves using the symbols to represent physical models of the world around them. This is demonstrated through the different drawings of their family. We find the children drawing the photos of family members, or they try to make pictures of their family members, in which they they draw pictures which are very kind of not of very much proportionate size. They are not drawn to scale or accurate physical traits. They might draw the head very big, and then the limbs may be of very um, like small size. So that type of things they do. The child knows that they are not accurate, but it does not seem to be an issue to him or her. So they tend to draw. They draw, might be the size and shape would be disproportionate, but and they know that this is not the right picture, but then also it is not making any kind of issue with them. So this is the symbolic function substage. Then the second substage is known to be the intuitive thought substage. What is this? In this particular substage, this happens between the around the ages of 4 and 7. Children tend to become very curious and they ask a lot of questions, and it might be irritating at times for the parents and other elders, but they ask a lot of questions. They start or they begin the use of primitive reasoning, by, how, when, these type of questions. So there is an emergence in the interest of reasoning and wanting to know why things are the way they are. And this is something which is called intuitive substage by Piaget. Why? Because children realize that they have a vast amount of knowledge, but they are unaware. They don't know how they acquire it. So this is something which is a little bit of um, a stage which is making a lot of sense, because it here the cognitive development can be seen very properly. They start a lot of conservative activities, centration, conservation, irreversibility, class inclusion, and transitive inference. Transitive inference, or all these characteristics which can be seen in the pre-operational thought. So here we can find a lot of cognition, lot of cognitive activities happening. Then the third stage is known to be the concrete operational stage. This stage starts from the 7 year of age and it goes on till 11 years. The major features, the major characteristics and the developmental changes which can be seen here in this stage are that in due course of this stage, children begin to think logically about the concrete events. They begin to understand the concept of conservation, that the amount of liquid in a short, wide cup is equal to the amount of the liquid kept in a tall, skinny glass. This is a very typical example. Same amount of water if it is kept in a wider cup, and the same amount if it is kept in a long and very tall kind, like tall and skinny glass. This In this stage, the child is able to make out that the amount of liquid is equal in both the tumblers. Their thinking becomes more logical and organized, and they are very, like, they start to become very logical and organized, but still very concrete. They have to have some sort of experience in concrete way, then only they are going to actually accept that this thing can happen in this way. Children they start using inductive logic or reasoning from specific information to a general principle. So these are few of those characters which can be seen in this particular concrete operational stage. While children are still very concrete and literal in their thinking at this point of development, they become much more adept at using logic. The egocentrism of the previous stage, the pre-operational stage, begins to disappear as these children become better at thinking about how other people might view a situation. So they are now they have started beginning to think about others. They are now not very much focused on only them. So while thinking becomes much more logical during the concrete operational stage, it can also be very rigid. So, because of this, the children at this point in development tend to struggle with abstract and hypothetical concepts. There can be a lot of misconceptions which can be seen happening into this age group. And during this stage, children also become less egocentric and they begin to think about how other people might think and feel. Children in the concrete operational stage also begin to understand that their thoughts are unique to them and that not everyone else necessarily shares their thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Then comes the fourth stage, which is the formal operational stage. This stage starts from the age group of 12, and this is known to be existing throughout the life. From 12 years to the rest of the life, we can find the people in this particular stage. The major characteristics and the developmental changes which can be seen in this stage, they comprise that here in this particular stage, the adolescent or the young adult begins to think abstractly, and they start reasoning about the hypothetical problems, even the problems which can be only thought of, because the abstract thought emerges. The teenagers begin to think more about the morals, the philosophies, the philosophical ideas, the ethics, social and political issues. They start doing a lot of debates, and they start talking about these issues which are concerning them, which are related to the world politics and even the politics of the nation and all. These uh, discussions, these thoughts require theoretical and abstract reasoning. So they are in a position to do the debates and all because they are now starting to think in an abstract way. They begin to use deductive logic or reasoning from a general principle to the specific information. These are few of those important features of the formal operational stage. The final stage of the Piaget's theory, the formal operational stage, this involves an increase in logic, the ability to use deductive reasoning, and an understanding of abstract ideas. At this point, people become capable of seeing multiple potential solutions to the problems, and they also think more scientifically about the world around them. The ability to thinking or to think about the abstract ideas and situations is the key hallmark of the formal operational stage of cognitive development. The ability to systematically plan for the future and reason about hypothetical situations are also critical abilities that emerge during this particular stage. It is important to actually see here in the Jean Piaget's theory that Piaget did not view children's intellectual development as a quantitative process. What exactly it means that kids basically do not just add more information and knowledge to their existing knowledge as they get older. On the place of this particular thought, what Piaget says that he basically suggests that there is a qualitative change in how children think as they gradually process or they proceed through the four stages of the cognitive development. So rather than just seeing the quantitative change, what Piaget says that we should see the qualitative changes which are happening in the cognitive structure of the child's life, which undergoes these four stages. A child at the age of 7 doesn't have more information about the world than when this child was of 2 years. And there is a fundamental change in how he or she thinks about the world. So basically, we can find the cognitive stage theory very qualitative in nature, which informs us that how uh, the chronological changes happen in the structure of the cognitive structure in a very proper way in different stages. So while studying the Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory, there are few important concepts. And for better understanding some of those things that happen during the cognitive development, it is very important to first examine a few of the important ideas and the concepts introduced by Piaget. So we are going to see that what are those important concepts which or the factors which basically influence the learning and growth of the cognitive structure of a child. So let us see what are those important concepts. The first concept is the concept of schema. A schema describes both the mental and physical actions which are involved in understanding and knowing. Schemas are categories of knowledge that help us to interpret and understand the world. In the viewpoint of Jean Piaget, a schema includes both a category of knowledge and the process of obtaining that particular knowledge. Like once we get any experience, this new information which we received through this experience is used to modify. Basically, we are having the idea about a particular thing, and that thing was used by us in a very different way earlier, and now somebody has shown us that this thing can be used in this way also. So what happens? The earlier information is automatically modified, and that this extra information is added. So the schema which earlier was there for this particular thing is now changed, and this change basically happens in the previously existing schema. So now the added information makes the schema changed according to the new information. Let's take another example. In case a child is having some idea about a pet animal, like in case there is a cat, which is a pet of this child. If this child is having a single experience that uh, there are small cats, there are small sized cats, this child might believe that all the cats are of only very small size, because this child might be having a small cat. The cats might be having very furry uh, skin, and they might be having, like, they have the four legs, and they make a particular kind of sound. Now this was the information which was there. So this is the schema which the child is having. Suppose another child comes, and this child is having a cat which is bigger in size, and this cat is having uh, the feather which is of different color, and maybe the not feather, basically the fur is of this cat is very kind of long, and even the skin is very soothing. So now the child will take this new information, and this child will modify the previously existing schema to include the new observations in this new cat. So now the child might be having a new schema which can be defined as that cats are of different sizes, and they might be having different colored furs, and the fur can be of different texture. So this is the new information which is added, and in this by the add of this new information, the schema is now changed. The next important concept is the concept of assimilation. The process of taking in new information into the already existing schema is known as assimilation. The process is somewhat subjective because we tend to modify experiences and information slightly to fit in with our pre-existing beliefs. The example which we have seen in case of the cat, what was the assimilating point? That the child was earlier thinking of that the cat would be of that shape only, that size only, and the skin color or the color of the fur of the cat would be only of that particular color in which she has seen that cat. But now what she has assimilated, the new information, that no, the cat can be of bigger size, of a different color, of a different textured fur. So the schema has now changed. And how? By the process of assimilation, where the new information is now added to the previously received information. So this was assimilation. The next term is accommodation. So this another part of adaptation involves the changing or altering of our existing schema in the light of new information. This process is known as accommodation. Accommodation involves modifying existing schemas or ideas as a result of new information or new experiences. So new schemas may also be developed during this process. Basically, the acceptance. There will be a stage when the new information is received, but we are or the child is not accepting that particular uh, information. The child is not getting the equilibrium. Till the child is not receiving or equilibrating the information into the existing schema and changing it into a new schema, till then the accommodation might not happen. But once the child accepted, assimilated the new information, and now she has got the new schema ready, we can say that accommodation has happened. So the part of adaptation involves changing or altering the existing schema in the light of new information, and this particular process is known as accommodation. Then the equilibration. Piaget believed that all children try to strike a balance between assimilation and accommodation, and which is achieved through a mechanism. And this mechanism is called equilibration. The children basically they progress through the stages of cognitive development. It is very important to maintain a balance between applying the previous knowledge. Does it means? Applying the previous knowledge means assimilation, and changing behavior to account for new knowledge. So when the new knowledge is actually received, like accepted, that is the stage of accommodation. So between these two, there is equilibration. Equilibration helps to explain how children can move from one stage to the next stage, to the other stage. So this is the next important concept. After all this, let us try to summarize what we have studied. We have seen the stage theory of Jean Piaget, the stage theory of cognitive development given by Jean Piaget. We have seen the various important points of the stages of cognitive developments, the characteristic structures which are found in the four stages of the stage theory, the sensory motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. And we have also seen some important terminologies related to the uh, cognitive development theory given by Jean Piaget, and these were the important concepts of schemas, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. These important concepts are very essential in terms of understanding how the different stages which are covered in the Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory actually work together, and how they are explaining the chronological account of the development of cognition or cognitive development of a child throughout the life. So this is something which we have studied here in this entire session. These are few of those questions which can be seen, which can be solved, or you can go ahead with solving these questions which can be suggested to be asked in your examinations. And these questions can be that who gave the stage theory of cognitive development, discuss the theory in detail, and what are the various important terminologies related to theory of cognitive development, discuss with examples from daily life, and there can be many more. So if you have internalized the entire concept of the cognitive development theory and the related terminologies, you will be in a position to answer any type of question or any form of question, either it may be MCQ or short answer type or long answer type, if it is asked in any of the competitive exams or maybe in your general course. So this is for your revision and further work. So these are all the references and the suggested further readings which were used while development of the lesson. And I suggest you all also to go ahead and read more about this theory and the other theories related to the cognitive development and enhance your knowledge in a better way. So this was all for today. Let us see each other in another session, another time, another day. Thank you so much. Dear learners, you were watching a video which was from Block 1 related to the fundamentals of educational psychology and growth and development. And this is one of the topics from Unit 2 on growth and development. And this topic dealt with the cognitive development theory of Jean Piaget. The lecture was recorded by Dr. Aerum.